Hey, this is M.R. Kidwell with Faith Horizon Baptist Church. We want to give you a quick update. We've completed our sermon series on thriving in exile. We looked at the period of time where the Jewish people were in exile in Babylon. It's interesting that they left the idolatry of their past during that time of exile, reestablished their identity as God's people, and their character was honed during that time of exile. You and I are still in our period of exile, and I'd have to say, as Americans, we probably are not getting a passing grade, maybe a C- or a D+ in how we've handled our exile. Rather than regain our commitment to Christ and our relationship with God, we have splintered apart with anger and hatred, division, mistrust, and so it's my hope that we will begin to seek the God that can draw us together rather than the world that seeks to divide us. With that said, we're starting a new sermon series now in the post-exilic period. We're kind of following that historical timeline. We're in the book of Ezra, and so on YouTube we're going to be putting up a couple of messages on a new sermon series, Returning to a Wreck, Removing the Rubble, and Rebuilding a Life. And so one of the things that I found interesting in studying for this is the thought that the people that returned from exile were going to a place that they'd only heard of. They'd heard the romanticized stories, they'd heard the wonderful songs of Zion, but they'd never really been there. And when they got there, it was an overgrown pile of rubble, a wreck. And which made me think, what will we be returning to? And sometimes people, they say, Pastor, will it ever be the same? And here's my definitive answer for that. Well, maybe. And then again, maybe not. I kind of look at this like a 911 thing, or 2001. There's a whole generation of college students who have never waited at an airport gate to greet someone when they got off of an airplane. Why? Because things changed. I proposed to my beautiful wife at the gate at Tulsa International Airport as she was getting ready to board a plane. And there's a whole generation of people can't imagine being in that position because it's just what we've grown accustomed to. Is it going to be the same? Not completely, but nothing ever is. So as we do this, what do we need to do? How can we be in tune with being the people we're called to be, what we're designed to be, and not so wrapped up in anxiety and anger that we miss the blessings of the moment? Well, we're going to talk about that in the book of Ezra for a couple of 3 weeks, and then we're going to weigh anchor in the book of Haggai for 5 to 6 weeks as well, as we look about coming back, removing the rubble, and rebuilding a life together. So I hope you'll join us for that. We are streaming live on Facebook weekly at 11:15, and then there's an edited version that we're trying to get up on YouTube that has the PowerPoint slides edited into the video to make it a little bit easier to follow. And so we just want to encourage you. There's no reason to panic. God's still on the throne. Jesus is Lord. And you and I have an opportunity to not just survive this pandemic, this crisis, the mess that is, but we have an opportunity to grow through this, to progress, and to come out the other side knowing who we are and being reaffirmed in our relationship with God in a powerful way. So join us on Sundays, 11:15 for Facebook Live. If that's not a possibility, follow us on the YouTube channel, Faith Horizon Yuma, and we'll have weekly sermon updates. And I'll try to do some more of these updates as well to kind of let you know where we are. And God's blessings on you. Have a great week.